And thank you for attending today's workshop entitled Common Mistake in Academic Writing Revision Strategies. Without further ado, let me introduce today's presenter. Dr. Naila Masoud is a writing specialist and a lecturer for English language at the ELI in King Abdulaziz University. She has taught at the private university in Jeddah, Yumbet College for Women in Saudi Arabia, and elsewhere. She has an MA in English as well as postgraduate certificate in American TESOL. She's a PhD scholar in education. She has extensive practical experience as a master trainer for the United Nations, UNESCO. She worked in their teaching training programs for 5 years, which were ranked among successful programs of UNESCO. Her area of interest is professional development, enduring service, and teaching all the 4 skills of language. She participated and presented her papers nationally and internationally on different professional and teaching skills platforms. She has different courses of writing. She has taught different courses of writing skills, medical terminology, Islamic terminology, and writing skills at different colleges as well. Thank you, Dr. Naila, for sharing your knowledge and expertise. The mic is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Basma. Thank you for the nice introduction. I'm not that, but alhamdulillah so far. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Good evening. Good evening, all. And it's a great pleasure and a great honor to be on this platform. I'm feeling more than myself proud to you people, actually, that on this great center, of course, they are providing you high standard kind of materials. And for this, we need to be thankful to all the leadership, Ms. Basma, Dr. Kamal Abdullah, and thanks a lot for all the efforts. The topic that I want to discuss with you all, some of my students are also participating in this event. So this is addressing you all. Maybe you are a student, just a learner, or maybe there are graduate students or the writing center, the ones who are registered already there. That we have, being the ESL or EFL learners, we do sometimes mistakes. And those mistakes are sometimes, I say that they are a bit of fossilization, because we have a habit of doing that. A bit of careless work, we don't revise those things. We have some challenges. So that's why I would like everybody to pay a little attention to this session, that what common mistakes that we do, in particularly in academic setup, in academic writing. You might have attended till now various kind of sessions regarding the writing skills. And I hope that this one would also get some increase in your writing skills. And by the end of this session, I hope you feel that you consider yourself a better writer and with some more ideas, and you can clear some more concepts. Can you all tell me, anyone, maybe about you or about your students, that if you have any problems or issues, you feel that still you are doing that intentionally or unintentionally, but it happens? What could be they? Can you name them from your students' work, from their performance, or maybe you? Do you have some problems? Could you please share your ideas in a couple of minutes? Any problems while you are writing or the students are writing? No? Good. It means that you all are good writers. Or can you identify any issues with your students when their writing comes to you? You find that, you don't have. Nobody would like to share their ideas? My students, they have something which I'm going to uh, tell you here, and they are the practical problems and practical issues. Okay, good, Miss Doa, thank you. Right, very good. So it means that you are keeping an eye out for them and for yourself. Good. So let's address all those problems and let's find the help that how we or they can rid of those errors or those mistakes. How can they fix them? As we know that writing involves a certain process. It's not a haphazard work or it doesn't come in a short while. It means that we have to produce some appropriate text because we are dealing with the academic writing. Maybe the text that we are producing, maybe it's a short one, maybe a small paragraph, maybe a small essay. But for that, we have certain process that is a little planning, that is going for the first draft, that is doing a little keen looking to the errors, drafting it, revising and editing. So all those parts are, those are the important components of my talk today. So the writing also needs a little enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, why I selected that, it needs a piece of heart. Unless and until we don't give it such efforts with honestly, we can never brush up our writing and we can never be a good writer. We can never be a good communicator through our pen or pencil. So these are the usual processes that we deal with every day, writing or the writing assignments or the task that we want our learners to know. And the learners, they need to keep in their mind that first, we have those steps to follow. The pre-writing mean what could be the ideas that I can accumulate related to a topic that is assigned to me? What could be the organization of my ideas? How can I keep them? How to draft them as a first hand, the rough draft, the second one, and a draft that could be flawless with no errors. And how can I make that possible? Revising, editing, and proofreading, I highlighted it with the red ink. You know why? Because this area usually is neglected. And there are certain reasons that I want to inform you that why students, they don't want to revise properly, that they don't want to re-edit it, and they don't go for the proofreading. Lots of factors are there. I'm going to mention them. Pre-writing is what? Decide a topic. So let's start the journey of writing, a time to think well, and we need to think, right? Thinking should have some time. Maybe you're thinking for 1 hour, you're thinking for 1 day, it depends. So first decide what is the purpose? Why should you write? What's the reason of writing? What are you trying to write and what will be your accomplishment? After that, what will be the reward? Where would you stand if you write something properly or you call it academic writing? How you can identify that who is going to read your article, your story, your essay, your paragraph. So you need to specify to yourself, your reader, your audience. Are you writing for a professor? Is that going to be an assessment that is going to be submitted to a teacher and she's going to mark that? And she's going to be more critical than you because she's going to give you the grades. So you need to see that who is your reader. Then what exactly is that you are writing about and the topic you are thinking. And here you get lots of knowledge. This topic is related to your studies, your discipline. It is given from any of the unit or the chapter. What is that about? Or it is journal writing you are just doing randomly. No, academic writing addresses academic files, academic assignments, academic tasks, and so on. Then you brainstorm lots of ideas. Brainstorm mean it not just that you discuss that in the class. Maybe you got to know that from your friend, you discuss it with your teacher. Maybe somebody told that to you, or maybe you read that in an article. So you are collecting all those ideas before you sit for the actual writing, right? So what information do you have about that specific topic that you want to address or you want to write? So what do you need to collect? What information you would like to put on together? Now is that academic writing skills versus common mistakes. Here comes the main point. That usually academic skill, when we call that academic, that writing should be free from all kinds of mistakes. But when it comes to the ESL students, they tend to make some very common mistakes. And I have a fear, I'm afraid, if they don't fix them, if they are not done at the beginning, and they can have what? Serious consequences later on, afterwards. What could be that? So therefore, it is important that they try. Try what? Constant practice, continuous practice. They put together efforts, write every day a little bit, something maybe, and by this way they can eliminate those mistakes strictly. And the teachers and the ones who are teaching those skills, they need to encourage those learners to compensate for the mistakes and to tell the keys, to tell or to guide them how to fix those mistakes on time, or to keep an eye out for those. So as we got to know that academic documents are always need to be clear, concise, and error-free. And to ensure this, there are some important elements that students should avoid in academic writing. Or first, we need to know that what are those mistakes. So as we all know about them, that there are reasons behind the ESL and the EFL students. That those students, they have difficulties in many aspects. I don't need to elaborate this because we know that the language difficulties is the top most important one. But how, as a writer, as an expert, or as a guide, or as a teacher, how can I make that convention with my students that they need to learn and they need to understand not to do those common mistakes? Fine. So we need to find those things. Composing and drafting, when you get to the brainstorm, of course, after that, the next step comes that you want to write something. You just go to take it in the black and white, like it's the time to write. So you put the information, whatever you brainstorm, that you put in a language. And let me tell you that writing is not, it occurs not just like this. It is a more prominent tool of communication that stays for longer. It's not that just a phone call or text message and that is deleted or that is removed. It stays there, right? You can do anything with that, right? In a positive manner, in a negative manner, you can bring about any changes, but it will stay there because that is a piece of writing that you are keeping it. So first, what to do, whatever you brainstorm, then you develop sentences, and after that you put them in paragraphs. And even if they are not perfect, you just go to the steps. Then you read it, what you have written, and you judge it says what you mean. And then you revise the plan. If it's not working, you do it in another way. And you try to refine it. How do you refine? First, you look to your statement, right? Is that interesting? How are your topic sentences? Are they making any sense related to the topic? What about your supporting evidence, that the examples you are writing up, are they enough? What is the relation in between the information? What is the coherence and coherent? Where is the conclusion? Is it making any sense to the reader? Is that understandable? Is that good? Or did you keep the main thesis statement back there? You look to everything. So first, addressing all the other errors, I want you all to do the important aspect. And I informed you that I'm keeping it in the red uh, font because they are scary. As much as I learned from my students, they don't like to revise. I need your opinion. They don't like to re-edit. Why? You know that? Revising and reviewing is something very crucial. And I'm sorry if I say that. Usually in the presentation we don't say that my experience, but yes, this is my experience. That once the students and the learners, they go for the revision and for the editing, they can refine their writing for all the errors. Once they do that, somehow the writing becomes perfect, or it's more ideal than before, and they feel happy for that, even the teachers. Students are scared. The learners, they think, what is the revision and what is the editing? Revision is that what is the entire story that the learners, they have put up together. So it's making sure that concepts and the supporting information are presented in the very clearest and in the most logical way that the reader understand. On the other hand, this is actually a definition that I have taken from Shantanoga in the Nadre April 2010. This is already posted on academia.com. An article is there. But the editing, on the other hand, is what? That it looks to each single bit of the words, whether that are, as you said, maybe an error in the punctuation, maybe that is an error with spelling, maybe they are the other things you said that organization look to the revision part, like Miss Doa, she says. But the editing that in which we are going to see that what changes can be done to the entire document by adding new text, or by adding some new words, or by bargaining with some other mechanical words, or where could we make a different sense in our sentences, in our paragraphs? What could be the flow? What could be the coherence? What could be the other words that we want to add, or the comma mistakes, or the full stops, many things, etc. So the editing is to the words only, and the revision is to the entire picture. Revision is like looking back or looking again. And according to Gardner in 1985, he says it's a process to look again to your own work, and in a critical mind, not because all the time to be negative. Sometimes we have to be positive, that, oh, wow, this is what I wrote, I can't believe. Yes, sometimes we can produce the best piece of writing. So it's not always the negative. Yes, we can reshape it. We can rethink of that. Maybe that is any type of research paper or a paragraph or an essay. We can revise it. We can look to it in a more critical way. So revising is finding and correcting problems within the entire content, changing the ideas. Maybe you don't like, maybe you want to clear some more information. Maybe you want to add something more. And it looks to the big picture, the ideal level. It means the high order concern. So it needs a very thorough look, and it needs a careful review from the top to the bottom. What are the challenges in the revision? Oh my God. My students, when I ask them that go for some revision, do some revising type of task, you know what do they tell me? How about you? Your students, do they like to revise the things? Can I know from you? When you ask them that before you submit it, revise, look to it again. Do they take your words? Do they do that as you like them to do? Rarely. Very good. Yes, Rida, nice answer. Rarely, hardly. I can say hardly. Right? I want my students. Nice. Anybody else? Would you like to share that? What is your experience, the whole experience about your class? My students, one, I'm very honest about my students and about their opinions and about their practices, what they do with me, that it's kind of like boring for them. They believe that what they have written, it is what they could write. It's a kind of a little punishment, right? If there is an incentive, of course, I wish if we could have incentives. Sometime I promise them, but I keep that folded. Where? And let me give you the best. I believe this is a very successful key, Miss Amanda, that I ask them that I'm going to help you in the final assessment. And I for sure know that when they practice a lot, they do many, many times, they don't need my support. They know they don't need my help. But since they trust me, since I take their honesty, so I don't violate that. So when they practice a lot, definitely they are getting improved, they are developing, they are bringing it to the next level. Fine. Yes, yes. Yeah, good. Shamsu Yusuf, good. Giveaways, they like that desire. Fine. I promise them. I promise them. Even sometimes I just keep one candy and I said that only to the one, because I respect the candy more than them. So this is a little motivation that they go for the revision. They find that it is, they believe that what so they have written, it is enough. It was their capacity they could do. And why to punish them again that they have to write? But I need to acknowledge them that the good writers, even they have to see their writing again and again. It can occur at any time, at any stage in the process of the writing. Because most of the writers, even the good writers, they do a lot of mistake. But while they are revising, they are more critical, and they can have a different approach, and they can find what it was something they are not appropriate, they can remove that. And but sometimes they feel that if they are taking feedback from lots of people, if they are showing it to a lot of people, like in the group work, like in the pair work, they get more confused, or they don't have that much patience, or they can leave themselves like diffident, mean they are not very decisive, like they can't decide which one is they should keep, or which one they should avoid, or which one they should delete or remove. So in the process, yes, we can find those challenges. On revision, we want to refine writing, want to make sure to clear communication in ideas, and I give them those arms. What arms? That they have a liberty, they have this autonomy. If they want to add something, they can go for, right? Maybe they want to add some sentences, some words, some figurative language, or something they can negotiate. They can add, they can remove something. They can remove a sentence, some sentences, they can remove incomplete sentences. Some words, if they don't like, or they are repeated, or they are redundant, why not to remove them? They should have a courage. So the students' challenge is what is their biggest error, a common error they do. Once they have written something, they believe this is the perfect one. And they wouldn't like to remove that. They feel that they stand on that till that much. So I ask them, come on, move it. You have a ground. The space is given to you. You can keep it here and there, whether that is a sentence, they are adjectives, they are nouns, or they are adverbs. In any form, if you are describing something, move around. Keep them here and there, but do not repeat them. They can substitute, like trading with some exciting words into the boring words, or the boring words into exciting words. They can find some nice words while they should be using any thesaurus, or they can go for any other dictionaries. And they can get help online. A lot of help is there. Is there anyone they would like to talk to me? Some noises there, please. So writing process is, and this is a strategy, it goes straight. If it is B-track, we wouldn't be able to go to the final destiny. So the revision strategy, the top one is look for the unity. Are you there around the topic? Is there any coherence? The flow of ideas is enough? And is it smooth? Is it logical? Or you are detracting yourself here and there and jumbling around? So first of all, the content should be revised properly. The material in the content is the most important feature. In revision, they need to check if their thoughts and ideas, whatever they want to establish, are they understandable? Look to the examples. How many did you write? How many more you can write? How far you can go if your thesis statement is clear? So as much as you can write. I welcome my students. I give them a free hand. And I motivate them that if something is inappropriate or something is not sufficient to me, I will inform you before I go for a final feedback. So this element takes like something that is nice or that is really in need. So why not to go for the relevant things rather than unnecessary or irrelevant things or irrelevant examples? Organization, as you said, yes, check for the topic, review all the steps. If they are there according, we usually give them the prompts that you should look for the introduction, you should look the body paragraph 1 and 2 and 3, so on, and go to the conclusion. So how you can organize the entire, yani what could be the pattern. And check the ending also, never ignore that one. Does it connected with the introduction? Do you have that? Style, here I don't mean the style of the document. Here I mean that what type of writing they are asked to write. Is that a descriptive kind of essay? Is that a kind of narration we have asked them? Is that some kind of analytical essay? So types of, it depends on. So once they are properly clear to the topic and the thesis statement, they come to know exactly that what kind of style they need to adopt. That language that can keep them, they can keep them involved in that topic is that style. Here, not the style of documentation, the style, the field on which they need to write, the material they need to write to support their thesis and support their topic. Now is your time. And I ask time to time that my students sometimes they do those mistakes. When I ask them that you can negotiate sometime with noun and pronoun, sometimes the verb and adverb, sometimes adjectives. So more than others, they love adjectives. They like them a lot. And I give them open hand that go for it. Lovely for what? Come on, you can try. Come on, everybody. Charming, a charming lady. Is this Rida a female or a male? The male, you quickly they go that a beautiful lady, a charming lady. Go for other thing. Come on. Very good. 2, excellent. Everybody, I need your participation. What about the dress and the car and the baby and the voice and the house and piece of writing? Omar, clever. Who is a clever lady? Okay, good, amazing. Nice. Depends on the gender also. Depends on the gender. When I teach this with the male, some students, they love to use all those beautiful words. But when it comes to the ladies, they like their own vocabulary phenomena for the dresses, for the baby, for the house. Oh, good. Antique car. Very good. Pretty lady and stunning lady and precious baby. Wow, good. Thank you. So you all have got a good idea. Let's see what my students, they produced to me. And it was their reply. I collected them for when I give them some time that they can go and find it in their dictionaries. Good. Thank you, Rida. Thank you very much. Amanda, thank you for the screaming baby. So I like yours and theirs also. Some of them you didn't describe them, like stylish dress, a cute baby, or angelic voice, elegant, right? Elegant, beautiful house, or artistic some handwriting. Good. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Wonderful. But I expect that you all are good writers. Here comes the cry of the day when we talk about the mechanics. The grammar, the spelling, the punctuation, they are carefully used or good. Dua, thank you for distinctive voice. Mashallah, you have got a beautiful voice. I know that. When we ask the mechanics, the students, they get confused. And the confusion type of reason is that the mother tongue and the learning language is different. So they put those mechanics in the wrong places. They misuse them. They sometimes use them incorrectly. Spellings nowadays, since we are writing after and before and during the pandemic, they are all gone to the screen, and even ourselves sometimes we feel that we are in pathetic condition, right? Agree with me? Spellings and punctuation and the grammar, since because of the new modern technology, it's gone to the screenwriting. It stands nowhere, and I'm afraid of that. The paper writing is hardly there. The next thing, yes, mechanics. We are going to describe in details one by one. Okay, each one of them I'm taking in detail. Citation, another sore problem. Students, they quickly copy paste. They go for the plagiarism. Sometimes not very appropriate. Cited quotes, paraphrases they find, but they just go to make their work. Reasons are behind. I'm not always blaming the students. Reasons are behind. Sometimes time constraints is there. Sometimes the tasks are one after another. Sometimes the course material is too much for them. Many things are there, right? So citation is another problem. Plagiarism is another problem. Each one of them we need to address properly. I'm giving some strategies. They are short. Once we do them one by one with our students, we can expect some good writing from them. Read what you have written once, maybe twice. Rearrange the words, as I said before. Take out something that is quite any incorrect parts, or you think that you shouldn't add them. Do a little more research. Since we are teaching, lots of us were teaching the health tracks and many other tracks. Even they demand us that we need to go for the research work. And we do that. As much as we do, it provides some good material to us. Even it opens our mind. And we can go for some overused words or unclear words. They are not making any sense to the readers. We can remove them. And the best thing is read it aloud to yourself. So now the writer is a reader to himself or herself. Once they read the thing, they can find their common mistakes also, right? Those are the big revision questions. Please have a look to them. You can take them to the class, and they're really effective. How? Once they need to see that my piece of writing is that everything is clear. Are there any places not clear? Am I enough with the information, or do I need to go for more research or collect more information? Is there? Yes, the arms, very good. Are there some more information that I need to reorder to make a good sense to the reader? Or do I have to give something from the background? Something that depends the real story, or maybe the authentic data we can submerge there in the piece of writing. How to accomplish good revision? First, take a break. No hurry. Take a break and relax. Look to your draft before attempting any kind of those words as I'm showing it to you. For example, the wrong spellings or the wrong grammar. Take a break, have a rest time, come back to that, and read your draft aloud. Listen to your words. Imagine yourself that now you are no more a writer. Why the reader should be punished to read your wrong and your bad piece of writing, right? And what should motivate to them that they should go to read till the end? Look for the consistency and where is that in the problem areas. Get feedback if that is possible from the peers. They can ask for the pair work from their friends, they would like that, or in a group, or simply show it to you. Get help as a group member. Show your paragraph to them. Nowadays it's too easy. Send it by any media and ask them to send a feedback, but a holistic one, a real one. How to accomplish the good revision that is continued? Here is a checklist. Have I written the introduction properly? Is that interesting? My reader will read that. Have I used good vocabulary? Have I used selected different connections in between, like the like any phrasal verbs are there, any good nouns are there, any pronouns are there, any transitional words did I use? Have I used complete sentences or they are fragmented sentences? They are not completed in any form. My conclusion, how is that? Is it really interesting? Still connected? Editing and why to edit. This is the important part that we all need. And on this part, we can go for all the common mistakes and we can find that with more lenses, with the critical lenses. It means to correct or refine mechanics, mean the spellings, the punctuation, or the subject and the object and the other punctuation. So it looks to the little picture, like word by word. I'm going to ask something from you here. Following are the areas of errors that need to be focused. And some students, they do it intentionally or unintentionally, but it is appropriate in their language. They think that it's not a mistake. They think they have written perfectly. But when you look to it, or they look back to it, they feel that it's not making a good sense. It's not really good. So usually what happens, the subject and the verb agreement is missing. And let's talk about Rida, my dear. Let's talk about, the first thing is what? All of a sudden, he goes into she and she comes into he. Right? I believe it happens, right? And this goes in that, and these goes in those. And every time they feel it's perfect because in their language, it's not making that much big difference for them in understanding. But here we look for each bit of that. So the verb tense shift from the present to the past and to the future also is another confusing thing, and they make an error there. Some proper use of pronouns are not there. For example, with the singular noun, you have to use has. For the third person, it has, but with the you and I, and for the plural nouns, it should be have. So some examples are there. Can I ask you? She has given me, Shuruk has given me the answers of all those two. Thank you. Both of you are absolutely correct. Are you teachers or students? In both the stages, you're perfect. Thank you. Punctuation marks somebody's problem, yes. And when we talk about that, what about the other things we understand? But the fragments, the run-on sentences, the students, they usually find themselves in hot water. A fragment sentence is kind of group words. Maybe they have everything. It could be there. But however, it's but and however. Yes, imagine. However, it's neither an independent clause and nor a complete idea. And of course, a verb, subject, or a thought That could be missing part in the fragments sentences, right? And sometimes look to the students that they forget about the question marks, they forget about the full stop, the period, like here in the examples. Good. Okay, my students use pronouns immediately after a noun. Yes, good. Yeah, this is a very common mistake, Miss Amanda. Thank you for identifying this to us. Here, look to the two examples. Something is missing. Can I know that what is the missing part here? That is a small punctuation, but the meaning gets wrong. You speak Arabic, don't you? And when I asked my students, they said, why to put a question mark? The student already is saying, or the speaker is saying, I can speak Arabic, or you are telling him that, yes, you speak Arabic. And she asked, are you happy to be home? And there is nothing to end. Yes, good, Omar. Thank you, Omar. Yes, yeah, true. Tag question or the question mark is missing. Very good. So the tag question is not in there. Yes, sometime to make them a little, to have a fun, I ask them, Sah wallah, right? And they feel excited at that the teacher is also using Arabic, though I'm not an Arabic spoken person. Some other about the wrong spellings, of course, we can ask them to download any of the dictionary, correcting misspelled words. So rephrasing confusing sentences, I'm giving you two examples, you will see them. And today I was going through Unit 8, and it says that how the students can rephrase a statement with the verb and noun, noun and verb. So rephrasing confusing sentences, and to be sure that all sentences are complete, or variety of structure, rundown or fragment sentences, they all are in appropriate place. They need proper work, and they need to go through lots of training. For example, what could be the exact spelling of apologize, or another, here I have written 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can give me a reply. Come on, you are going to give me a reply. I see that there are some bunch of people there sending me very active replies, and about the rest of the class. So sometimes the same sound words with different meanings, they make a big confusion. And we sometimes cannot consider them. We want them to be engaged type of synonym words or antonyms, find them, or we ask them to go for some reading, right? We ask them that don't feel afraid that if you need to change something in your draft, or you need to remove the unnecessary words, right? That we're going to describe in the wordly things, in the wordy, okay? So appear of something is to object. Here, what is wrong in number 1? What's wrong in number 1? Appear of something is to object. Amanda, can I ask you, my dear? No, I'm here. I'm with the misspelling words. Perfect. Perfect. Try number 2. My boy's sister Monica loved the pepperoni pizza. You can do that. The third one, drove or drive. It is an irregular, right? Irregular verb in the past form. The students get confused a lot more than the regular verbs. And irregular, the hard thing for them is, of course, to learn them as they are with different spellings, and they feel that they are unable to produce exact spelling. So they make mistakes, right? And a very common saying about the comma splices and the commas. And the other one, do you like both of them? Could you please read them, and do you like them, or you can enjoy them? Okay, Abir Abdullah. Yes, pear is wrong. That is the fruit. Pear is P-A-I-R, right? Like two. All right. So sometimes the problem with the punctuation and the commas, Of course, they can save life, like let's eat grandma, or or do not wear black people. They're not to, we don't wear them. It says do not wear black people. Can you hear, or can you hear? Sometimes a little pronunciation create a big mistake. Thank you very much, Nada. Your answer is absolutely correct. Perfect. We can suggest this to students that they shouldn't, or we ourselves as the writer, and this is quite helping, avoiding weak words or being active, not to be very passive, or avoid passive voices, like in the examples I have given, that they are in the worldly things also. Rather than saying that the house was damaged by the rainstorm, the house, the rainstorm damaged the house, or a story was written by him, he wrote a story, things like that. So why not to be very concise? Why not to be very brief? Why to make the people confused that we have got a lot of word banks, or we can use a lot of vocabulary? It's not that impressive. If we are perfect in the message that we can deliver in the best way, that's more than enough. Those cups are always helpful. They are my friends. For the spellings, for the wrong words or the wordiness, sound alikes, things like the homonyms, the missing words, the capitalization, all of them can be worked out together by a lot of practice. So those colorful cups are capitalization, usage, punctuation, and spellings. Like Phil was not thirsty. What can I use? Any transitional word. If you cannot use but, you can use any one of them. So sometimes we need to change the strategy of our teaching writing. We can give them options. We can ask them that which one will make a good sense in their opinion, in their idea. And then, of course, we have to come back to recorrect their errors, or to look back to their writing patterns, or to identify that what could be negotiated in between this one, how we can fix that for them. They need our guidance all the time. Wordiness, as I said just now, that it means too many words not used correctly. They are not very clear. So what we can ask? They are not making any good sense. So we can ask them that keep your writing concise by avoiding padding words. For example, I have written 2 examples. For example, the school is cancelled due to the fact that there will be faculty training like today. Or it would seem to be the case that the bacterial colony has doubled in size. Rather than this, can you try to be more concise, could be more brief? Anyone, can you try on these 2 sentences? You can copy there. Anyone? Like the first one could be, the school is cancelled due to the faculty training. That's it. Or the second one, rather than using long, wordy examples or sentences, we can say, in the simple form, the bacterial colony seems to have doubled in size. Fine. As I said, we need to be active. Those are the replies for those wordy kind of sentences. I said, let's avoid padding words, or let's try to be brief and to the point. Oh, another problem. Just now we talked about the citation. Plagiarism is another common mistake that the students, they do. Simply they open the websites, and wherever they like on the Google, they open this and they copy paste that, and they make our life full of trouble. When they submit their writing task on the blackboard for us, and the software that detect their plagiarism, and it shows that it is more than 20%, 50%, and of course it's not their work, it's somebody's else work, they simply copy paste. So we have to keep an eye on them, and we can simply introduce to them to make them understand that in academic writing, this is a serious problem and it has got some consequences. What could be the punishment? What could be the consequences from a teacher if a student is doing the plagiarism or the student has a plagiarized material? Is there any opinion we can punish the students? We can give an adverse mood and we can show to them something that we don't like about something they have copied. What could be some consequences, in your opinion? Something that we also come hard, we can do excellent. Of course, one consequence is that they will get low grades. It's not their work, it's somebody's else effort. Any other? And in later on in life, every time they will not be to those facilities. A time will come when they sit in the final exams, they wouldn't be able to copy and paste any material. So why not to be on their own selves rather than copying pasting from other sources? Why to use those sources? Why not to make them strong and confident about their own self? Whatever they produce, we should encourage them for that. Whatever they write, I encourage them, and the students are really motivated and they want to write it. Biased language is another thing. I think I did not mention that, but sometimes the students, they have a kind of a language where they feel they address themselves that I think and this is my opinion, and they force the other people to accept that. So biased language, that is also not accepted in it, is also counted in a common mistakes, that those expressions they demean some for some, maybe that is a product, maybe that is an event, maybe that is about the people, or maybe that is about some other social class or any other traits from their life. So they sometimes use the biased language. Even we should avoid that. We don't need to be on one side. We always have to keep both the sides, maybe the negative on the positive, or maybe the pro and cons. We need to look deeply and thoroughly in all of them. Now, these are some suggestions that they can, or we can also keep in mind, that the subject and the verb object in any format should be legal, should be practiced properly. We need to pay special attention to the use of the verbs in the present, in the past, and the future. The subject and the verb should be. Tahani, yeah, you are saying that, yes, yes. Of course, they need to be given a positive feedback. And their help to themselves is what? When they practice by themselves, definitely that writing is far better. That writing is liked by the teacher, and the teachers, they are happy to find that. And of course, they get many, many more grades. So what we were talking about, the editing, that they need to see to the subject, whether that is in agreement or that is against it. What to do while editing? Here comes the editing strategies. We need to keep a log, a kind of copy. And we can write and write in that first. I always ask my students to bring some writing material, so they can identify to themselves that where are the problems areas that they are doing and they need to improve there. Uh, Nowadays, they are showing it on the screens. The screens, they delete the things then and there. When they are off, they don't see those things again. So the teacher's correction is standing nowhere. That's why I ask them to keep on a piece of paper, or to keep in a journal, or to keep in a log, so that you can find that where you did a mistake and how that you rectify that and how did you fix that. When editing, review your entire paper or the paragraph or the essay, or for one type of error at a time. Don't try to read through looking for everything at once. And keep a list of your habitual errors, like the students, they do in the subject, noun and pronouns, like some of you said that. And use a dictionary for the spell check. It is quite easy. They can download to their devices or to their gadgets, and anytime, every time they can open, or the auto spell checker is always available there. This is the usual thing that I copied from one of my students. She did this last semester while I was teaching in the business college, and I showed it. She didn't like me to highlight those with the red marker, and because when they write, they feel that everything is fine and perfect. When it comes to the teacher, she thinks that, what, excuse me, is this the piece of writing I supposed to have from you? So when you sit as a teacher or as a guide, you are correcting those things in this way. Somewhere you find typo mistakes, somewhere you find the words written twice, somewhere you feel that the subject and the verb does not agree with one another, somewhere the punctuation is missing, somewhere the grammatical mistakes are there, somewhere the sentence structure entirely is confusing. All the things are possible. Those are some checklists that you can do. Interesting questions there are for the editing, right? You can check editing by answering these questions. Did you use the proper? And there are softwares. I'm going to introduce some softwares to you. When you put your writing there, it can recorrect for you before you take it to the teacher. Is all the things are free of the grammar errors? Have you constructed any clear and effective sentences? Have you used or well selected the words? The word choices are good. And have you added any, or have you missed any punctuation? Do you need anywhere anything that should be written in the capital letters or in the italics, or are they making any matters if you don't do that? What is the entire format of, how is your spacing? Like one of my students, she is writing with a very long spacing in between. And this is too irritating for me because I need to move my eyes up and down all the time. And the last thing, that if you read your draft to yourself aloud, do you find any mistake by that? Would you like that the same writing should come to you, and you are a reader, now you're a teacher, you can judge that writing, how far you are honest in your opinion. This is the formatting side, the documentation that I said that I recommend to the graduate students. Even our students, they can apply those one, the APA formatting, the Chicago style formatting, the MLA, but usually this is for the research purposes. The graduate students, when they are doing their research papers, they can adopt any one of them. For the proofreading, students, hardly they go, but those are the marks for the proofreading. When they do the proofreading for themselves, once they are done with all the editing process, they need to do it. If they do it in the best way, because we need to encourage the students, right? We can ask them that even the best writers, right? The best writers, they do those mistakes. We can go and we can improve them. And we shouldn't be that strict, like the strict teacher in our childhood that she used to tell us that, oh, once it happened, you can't do that again. So the editing process is like recorrecting the entire story or bringing it back to the thing that you are happy with, right? So a piece of editing in the writing is an entire structure for the correction. So there are lots of minor and big changes, maybe in the spelling, maybe in the grammar, maybe in the punctuation, maybe in the sentence structure. We should go for recorrection, right? We can imagine ourselves like that critical person that they're saying, let me see that if it's making any sense. Can I imagine myself, that teacher, the English teacher that was always very strict while I was a kid, and she wanted me to be free of any errors? It's possible, right? You know why? I had once, this was an article, and it was very inspiring for me, and I learned it. This was once from Sir Tom Stoppard. He's a British playwright or the story writer I don't know whether he's still alive, but this was one comment somebody asked about his writing. That the question was, how has your life changed over the last few years? And here was a reply for him. And he said, look on every exit as being an interest somewhere. So even the students, no sky is falling down. We need to ask them that they can go for the changes. They can go to bring the changes for the improvement. And their writing will be a good piece of writing if they remodify that, if they go to bring some more evidence, if that is more understandable than before, they can delete something, they can add something, they can modify something. Fine. But they have to make sure that their writing should be a piece of a standard writing. An academic writing means a standard writing, right? Wherever they want to express something, it has to be expressed in the proper way. Proofreading, a good writer, they are always involved in expert views and modification, scrutinizing, identifying, and rectifying. This should be the habit of any writer and every writer, right? We should adopt this habit also. We should never mind that, oh, how many times do I have to revise and re-edit it? It's good for them. Self-review, they can read to themselves. They can go before they peer review to anybody else. They can review to themselves. They can read it to themselves. And they can ask their peer to revise with them or any other partner or the group member to do it for them. And they should accept their feedback. It should be taken in a positive manner. And whatever they offer any suggestion, we should go for that, right? It's not that we are not going to discard them. Every good writer is a good reader. So good writing does not. This is Chinua Achebe, and I like that. And it's a key to any success. Writing doesn't come. It's not the verbal message that we convey to one another and to the listener, and that's not a speech that we deliver and everybody will understand. This is that as much as we do, it gives more taste. It creates more fragrance, and it becomes more attractive to the reader. So good writers would rather be understood than admired. Those are the softwares, any one and all of them, they help me, and I suggest to everybody, the bubble.us or us is good. Reverse Dictionary is good. Grammarly, Scrivener, Google Docs are ideal. The Microsoft Word, of course, we use them many times. We can encourage our students. The online thesaurus should be downloaded. My students, they have 2 of them. So, I mean, appealing the students to come and to attract them to write or to enhance their writing skills. We have to work hard with them. This is being teachers, also our responsibilities. We are their kind of models. They follow our steps. So if we are interested in their writing, if we are very kind of sensitive about their mistakes, so of course they will have a feeling and they wouldn't be doing them again and again. Those are my references. You all are welcome to see them. And you're going, by the end, you're going to complete the sentence. I'm leaving it to you. I want everybody, the good students, the ones who are frequently giving me replies, I wanted them to complete this for me. Would you do that? Anybody? Go for. Yes. Dua. Good, Rida. Rida, I think you are a teacher, right? They are players, they are actors, but why you are not writing that all the world is a stage and the students are good writers? They are good writers. Okay, the cast members. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for being here for me. And I hope if you have any question, if you have any comments, I'm on your disposal. You may ask me anything freely. Shuruk, thank you, my dear. Thank you very much, all of you. Inshallah, the Writing Center, time to time, they are giving you very rich kind of presentations, and I hope they work with you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naila, for honestly this insightful and well-structured presentation. MashaAllah. I think we still, as you said, have some time left for questions. So if you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to type in the chat box there. I've also just posted the evaluation form. If you would like to receive a certificate of attendance, please fill out the form with your correct information. By correct information, I mean your full name, the way you would like it to appear in the certificate, as well as the valid email address.
I think there are no other questions, Miss Basma. I'm here. If anybody they want to send anything or they need to ask anything, I'm happy than ever.
Thank you, Ms. Nani. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes.
Of course.
To make sure that.
Sure. I'm here.
So much.